Is South Africa the most racist country in the world? Let's have a look at that in this video.
Issues of vibrators.
To make sure that we leave no unturned and stone.
Did I hear that correctly? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Newsflash. I'm your host, Emilio. Thanks for tuning in. You may or may have not seen this image circulating on social media, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, the 10 most racist governments in the world with the highest racial discrimination index, and South Africa is number one with a 6.86 rating. Now, you might be asking yourself, but how did we even get here, or where's this information coming from? Well, apparently the IRR and Free Market Foundation did a bit of research. They found out that 142 racial acts of parliament are operative today in South Africa. So after the ANC took over, almost immediately, however, the government began reenacting race law and pursuing racial policy. The two most notable instances of this are the 1998 Employment Equity Act and the 2003 Broad-Based Black Economic Empowerment Act. Various other pieces of legislation exist among dozens of charters, plans, regulations, directives, notices, and policies that attempt to regulate aspects of society along racial lines and racialize commerce. Notably, however, no Population Registration Act exists today to classify South Africans according to their race, meaning the system is largely dependent upon self-classification. Now, I don't think the number 142 really gives you an idea of how things have evolved in South Africa. So let's just have a look at Free Market Foundation's Martin van Staden, who did a presentation on these race laws. Here's a clip to look at.
Now, one of the very simple purposes that I have here today is to show that race law is alive and well in South Africa. Now, I think everyone in this room would think, well, duh. But surprisingly, there are still some South Africans who deny this reality. And unfortunately, many influential, well-read people around the world also do not know that after 1994, legislated racial discrimination, in fact, did continue in South Africa. So I hope this slide, which is my only slide, can put that.
You may have seen this graph on social media. And to just touch on what Martin said as well, like, people don't know. I think now they know. Now that Trump has put a spotlight on South Africa, I think more and more people are starting to know. But here's a graph that illustrates just how the race laws have evolved over many years. So we can see from the beginning of the graph there, it says 1910. And in 1910, we can see the color, that blue or dark bluish color, is operative in year. And that's how many race laws were basically adopted by government. And orange is repealed. So that's the amount of laws that were repealed. And then the amount of laws that were adopted in year, which is the teal color. So you can see there's an increase as we get to 1980, 1985. And then in 1990, it starts going down. Around about 1994, it's at its lowest. Obviously, the ANC takes over. And then slowly but surely, there's an increase until we get to 2020 there. That's the latest stats there. And you can see it's even higher than the apartheid years. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think you understand. There are more racial discriminatory policies, regulations, etc. now in South Africa than there were in apartheid years. And all of them, most of them, against the minorities of South Africa. And I say minorities because it's not just coloreds or whites, it's also Indians. Basically, those are the minority. Any race other than black is a minority in South Africa. But the most ironic thing about all of this is that the majority of the population who are black are also poor, and they are suffering. So even though there is this increase in racial laws that are supposed to better the lives of the South African people, they're not just affecting the minorities, they're also affecting the very people that these race laws are supposed to benefit. Now, I'm not saying that these race laws are a good thing. I don't think so. I think this is a very good example of how the ANC has just ruined South Africa. And the communist ideology of just regulate is doing everything but helping South Africans. And of course, it's just helping the elites and the politicians. And again, until today, BEE laws get in the way of progress for South Africa. Take Elon Musk's Starlink, which would give internet to almost everyone in South Africa at a low cost or even free, and B laws are blocking that investment because the government says, hey, Elon, oh, you want to bring Starlink here? Well, we want 51% of your business, even though you put in the effort to build it, even though you are the one that came up with it, but we just want to piggyback. We just want our cut of the pie. And this happens all the time in South Africa. It's one of the reasons why a lot of businesses actually come here but don't last long. And this is just one example of red tape. There's endless amount of red tape for a business and investors to come into South Africa. And how would you feel? Let me ask you something very important. How would you feel if you worked your butt off to build an empire, right? And you know that this empire, like Starlink, can benefit people. So you want to bring it to a country. You choose South Africa. And then South Africa tells you, okay, great. If you want to do business here, we want 51% of your business for doing absolutely fuck all. I mean, the people that want your 51% of the business are doing absolutely fuck all while you've done everything to build that business. And I think it's important to mention here that if you guys think the US hasn't been watching South Africa for years, you would be wrong. In a recent US embassy statement, years ago, the South African government disbanded volunteers forces defending rural farmers, turning a blind eye to the ensuing farm attacks. I know. That's talking about farm attacks. The point is, they say years ago. So if they've been watching that, they've been watching everything else that's been happening in South Africa. They know about it. They know about the Bella Bill, NHI, and of course, Expropriation Act. They know and are not happy that the South African government took Israel to the International Court of Justice, and that the ANC is cozying up with countries like Iran and Russia. And now that the spotlight is on South Africa, I think, and I agree with Solidarity here, that Trump should continue the pressure on South Africa until the race-based laws are abolished. So is South Africa the most racist country in the world? At ground level, no. I don't believe South African civilians are racist. Of course, there are racists that exist, and they should be called out. Do I think the South African government is the most racist in the world? Hell yeah.
100%.
And I know that this might shock some South Africans. Like, how? How can the ANC be so racist? After knowing the South African history, the harmful, painful South African history, well, it's simple. The ANC has an attitude of, well, you did it to us, so we're going to do it to you. And we're the majority, so there's nothing you can do about it. But finally, Trump is peeling back that curtain and exposing the rot that exists in South Africa. And all the rot has to do with the government. I have left a link in the description if you guys want to go check out the Race Law website, where it has more details on the types of laws, etc. that exist in South Africa. You can have a look at yourself. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please leave a comment in the comment section below. What do you think about all this? Do you agree that the South African government is the most racist government in the world? Are you happy that Trump has finally shined a spotlight on South Africa? Only time will tell what will happen with all these race laws and if the ANC will abolish them. I hope so pretty soon. Anyways, while you're down there leaving a comment, don't forget to like the video, share it far and wide, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I've got more content coming your way, and with all that being said, thanks for watching. Your newsflash is in.
Somebody tell the president of South Africa to shut the fuck up. Talking about you will not be bullied. Ain't nobody bullying your motherfucking ass. Donald motherfucking Trump cut off your assistant because you all can't get y'all motherfucking shit together. People starving. You can't keep the goddamn lights on. People living in poverty. It's poor. People need gas. People need food. And you worried about Donald Trump cutting off assistants? No, motherfucker. You mad because Donald Trump cut off your assistant. Yeah, you looking a little bit too hefty. What the fuck you been eating with that USA assistant? What the fuck is it with the leaders of these countries acting like they are entitled to our tax dollars? Not only have they been getting paid decades, there's no fucking improvement. It's like they just been handed free money over and over and over again. It's like the money ain't even going to their people. The money is going to them and their mansions and their cars and their suits and their steaks and lobsters while their own people are fucking starving. And when we finally get a president that stands up for America and say, we ain't giving you no more money. Oh, Donald Trump's the problem. Be the problem. Oh, fuck America. If we won't give you no more goddamn money, how about you use your fucking resources and build up? Motherfucking Africa is bigger than goddamn you. Africa is 3 times the size of USA. I better link the fuck up like Wu-Tang Clan and make some shit happen. The audacity of him to get on stage talking about we would not be. First off, who is we? You are the bully to your people. So what the fuck you talking about?